In the last video we created our newsletter template. This time we're going to look at what we'd need to do when we want to send out a newsletter to our list. Now of course, depending on what you want to do, many restaurants of my restaurant clients will just send out one newsletter per month, but I also have some clients that would send out one per fortnight, others one per week. A lot will depend on the time you've actually got to do this. Obviously it takes some time to create the newsletter and send it out, and also you'd need to see what your customers actually want. Some people wouldn't want to be having a newsletter from you every single week. I do find with most of my clients once a month is ideal. It's enough time for you to say what's happening in your restaurant over the next month. If you want to give an offer or two, you can do that. You can tell them about any events you're having. So it's normally enough, but it's entirely up to you. Within your GetResponse account, you can actually send as many emails as you want. There are no restrictions on that, so you can send them as often as you like. So let's have a look. I'm back here on the dashboard. If you were looking to send a newsletter to your list, all we'd want to do is go to create and then create a newsletter, and that will bring me in. I'm going to choose the new email creator, and that brings me into here. So let's have a look what we need to do here on this page. First thing is where it says untitled message. This is a name of this newsletter. So this is for this particular edition of the newsletter. This is only for you to see this. So you may want to say November newsletter, for example. You can call it whatever you like. As I say, this is just for your own records. You'll then choose your email address. Now this will normally be the email address you set up when you actually opened your account with GetResponse. You can add other ones in there. So normally it would be, in our example, because we're doing this for the Olivia Dining newsletter, this might be hello@oliviadining.co.uk or newsletter at, or something like that, or whatever your normal email is for your restaurant. Then in subject line, this is what people will see when you send your newsletter to them. So it could be your update from Olivia Dining, for example, or your Olivia Dining November newsletter, or something like that. It's whatever people will see when they receive the newsletter. So you would definitely want to have the name of your restaurant or your business in there so people know that it is from you. Recipients, who do you want to receive this message? Who do you want to reach with this message? So what you need to do is click Add Recipients, and then you would just choose the name of your newsletter from the list. In my account, I have newsletter list for a number of my clients in my different GetResponse accounts. Yours would only have one, so all you need to do is choose the one. Now this would then tell you how many people you've got on your list. Of course this is a sample one we're just setting up, so there are no people on this list at the moment. For some of my clients, as I've said before, I've got up to 8,500–9,000 people on one list that you could be sending to. So when you set this up, you press the button once and it will send to everybody that's on your list. In the next video, we'll have a look at how you can actually start building your email lists. But for now, all we're doing is setting up the email that will send to them. So this would show you whether you've got 150, 10,000, 15,000, however many people you got on your newsletter list will show you there. You've just chosen that list. We then come down to actually design the email newsletter to send to them. Now if you remember, we've already created a template. So what we'll do is we will click on Design Message, and it then comes into here. These are all the pre-designed templates that GetResponse give you, but if you remember, we've saved our template. So what we want to do is click on My Templates, and there it is, the one that we created. So what I'm going to do is click on Copy Content, That then opens up our template here. So for our newsletter that we want to send out to people today, we just need to change anything on here to make our newsletter exactly how we want it. So we'll say that this is our November newsletter, so that all stays great there. If we were doing a different featured dish, for example, in this section, we could click on the image and that will bring up its various options down the right hand side here, and one of those is that we can replace the image. So we click on replace, it then comes back into this gallery here, so you could either upload a new file or choose one of the ones we have. So that changes that to the new one, and you could then obviously change the info here down the side. Then it's really just a case of looking what else you want to include in your newsletter. So for example, you may decide you want some text under here, and you may want to add in a special offer. So something like this. So it says special offer, 25% off your meal this coming Tuesday and Wednesday evening. Call to book your table now on so and so. But that can have any details of anything you wanted about your restaurant in there. So whether it be offers, featured dishes, featured events, just things that are happening in your restaurant, photos of your food, whatever you wanted to, that will help people to decide they want to come back to your restaurant. And when you've finished adding all the information that you want for this newsletter, what you then want to do is come up to the top to where it says test and preview. If you mouse over there, you then get an option of send test message. If you click on there, it will then let you send just a single version of the email to your own email address. When you've received your email and you've looked at that test version and it's exactly what you like and you want to send it out to your newsletter list, what we then do is we come up here and we click next. That brings you in here, so it shows you all that same information that you've already put in there. So we're calling it November newsletter. It's coming from our email address. We've got our subject line that all the customers will see. We've chosen as newsletter. You can see now you've designed your message. Gives you another option to send a test message if you want to. And then here we get a choice to either click this button and send it immediately, and that will send out to our list straight away, or alternatively you can schedule that for later. So for example, I normally will send my newsletters out for myself and my clients in the early evening. So that is when I've found they get a better response. So what I could do is click on here to schedule it. You could then choose your own country from the drop down. So for example, I'm in the United Kingdom, so I choose that and I say I want it to go out today at, we'll say 7:10 p.m. or no, let's make it 6:10 p.m. And if I then click schedule, that will automatically put that into the system, and when it gets to 6:10 p.m. it will send that newsletter out to all of your subscribers. So that's it. That's all we need to do to create our newsletter. So we've got a template. Each time we want to send a newsletter, we go into that template, make any changes we want to, create our newsletter, send ourselves a test. When the test is okay, we come in here and we either send it immediately or we schedule it to go out at a time we want it to. And that's it for creating your newsletter. In the next video, we'll have a look at how we can actually create a form to go on our website so that people can actually sign up for our newsletter.